10th game of the season, my rookie year. And he told me, you know, what he had thought about me and thought that I would be starting by this time.
Look, man, you look great. You look great.
You know, I'm fighting CTE, man, and I have.
Tony Dorsett was one of the greatest running backs the NFL has ever seen, a true Dallas Cowboys icon who earned his place in Canton. But even legends have their battles, and Dorsett's career was marked by intense conflicts with teammates and rivals that revealed a darker side to his competitive fire. Let's dive into the 4 players who drove him absolutely crazy. Before we get to the feuds, you need to understand just how good Tony Dorsett was. At the University of Pittsburgh, he was unstoppable. He won the Heisman Trophy in a landslide, crushing the competition with 701 first-place votes. That same year, he led Pitt to a perfect national championship season. But what really set him apart was consistency. Dorsett became the first player in NCAA history to rush for over 1,000 yards in all 4 college seasons. Nobody had ever done that before. His college dominance wasn't just about records, it was about complete and total supremacy. As a freshman in 1973, he set an NCAA single-game record with 265 rushing yards against Northwestern. He became the first freshman named first-team All-American since 1944. Throughout his 4 years at Pitt, he rushed for 100 or more yards in 36 different games, including an incredible streak of 20 consecutive contests. By the time he left college, he had set or tied 18 different rushing records, more than any player in NCAA history at that time. When he joined the Dallas Cowboys in 1977, he didn't slow down. Dorsett won Offensive Rookie of the Year and helped Dallas capture Super Bowl II in that very first season. This made him the first player ever to win a college national title one year and a Super Bowl championship the next. He was making history at every turn. The Cowboys knew exactly what they were getting. They used a sophisticated IBM computer system to grade draft prospects, giving each player a score from 1 to 100. Only one player in the history of their system ever received a perfect score of 100. That player was Tony Dorsett. To get him, Dallas traded with Seattle to move up to the 2nd overall pick. They signed him to a 5-year deal worth $1.1 million, the first contract in Cowboys history to break the $1 million mark. Then came January 3, 1983, a Monday Night Football game that would cement his legacy forever. The Cowboys handed Dorsett the ball at their own 1-yard line. And here's the crazy part. Dallas only had 10 men on the field because fullback Ron Springs missed the play call. Despite being outnumbered, Dorsett exploded through the line and raced 99 yards for a touchdown. It's a record that can only be tied, never broken. But the same fire that made Dorsett great on the field also fueled bitter disputes off it. His confidence turned into pride, and that pride defined the battles that would sour relationships throughout his career. The first major explosion came in 1985 when Dorsett held out from training camp over his contract. The problem wasn't just money, it was respect. The Cowboys had just given defensive tackle Randy White a fat new deal, and Dorsett felt completely disrespected. He wasn't some rookie. He was the franchise's offensive engine, the guy putting points on the board. So why was a defensive player getting paid more? Dorsett made his demands crystal clear. He wanted precisely $6.4 million over 20 years, including deferred money, an annuity, and real estate, exactly like Randy White's package. When Cowboys president Tex Schramm talked about helping Dorsett see the light, Tony shot back with pure sarcasm. He said, "What light does he have in mind? Neon lights, bright lights, dim lights, Randy White lights? I want to know." He was furious that White was valued above him. Here's where it gets messy. Dorsett was dealing with serious financial problems at the time. The IRS had slapped a $400,000 tax lien on 2 of his houses. He had other debts piling up. But instead of sympathy, Dorsett felt the Cowboys were leaking his personal business to the media to make him look bad. He said, "How would you like it if your personal affairs were all over the newspapers and TV? It's embarrassing." The team fined him $1,000 for every day he missed camp. Eventually, they reached a new 5-year deal, and Schramm said it would give Tony respect and financial security. But the damage was done, and the peace wouldn't last. Dorsett felt disrespected by the Randy White situation, but was he just being greedy? Holding out over a teammate's paycheck seems pretty extreme. What do you think? Let us know in the comments if you're on Team Dorsett or Team Cowboys. And if you're intrigued by the drama behind the NFL's biggest stars, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next video. Just 1 year after settling his contract dispute, the Cowboys made a move that sent Dorsett into a complete rage. In 1986, Dallas signed Herschel Walker, another Heisman Trophy winner fresh out of the USFL. Walker got a 5-year contract worth $5 million. That was more than Dorsett's hard-fought $4.5 million deal that he had just negotiated. Let that sink in. Dorsett had been the franchise's star for nearly a decade, and some new guy was instantly making more money. Tony went on a tirade. He was absolutely furious. For the first time in his career, Dorsett had to share the backfield. His ego took a massive hit. He wasn't the sole star anymore. This was the beginning of the end for him in Dallas. By 1987, everything fell apart. Dorsett was slowed by ankle and knee surgeries, and his production dropped. Meanwhile, the younger, bigger Walker flourished, outrushing Dorsett 891 yards to 456. The Cowboys had made their choice. They were investing in Walker's future, not Dorsett's past. Feeling pushed aside and disrespected, Dorsett demanded a trade after the season. His 11-year run with the Cowboys ended in bitterness because he couldn't handle not being the top dog anymore. The pattern here reveals everything about how the Cowboys viewed their aging star. Just 1 year earlier, they had reluctantly given Dorsett a new contract after his holdout. They didn't want to pay him like Randy White, but then they turned around and gave even more money to an outside player to replace him. The message was clear. Dorsett's best days were behind him, and the organization was moving on. For a player who had been told by the team's own computer that he was perfect, who had delivered a Super Bowl in his rookie year, this had to feel like the ultimate betrayal. His fight wasn't just about dollars anymore. It was about being erased from the team he had helped build into a dynasty. The third conflict involves Cowboys quarterback Danny White and the brutal rivalry with the Washington Redskins. This feud was more than football. It was pure hatred. Washington owner George Preston Marshall had tried to block the Cowboys from even existing as a franchise. By the 1980s, the rivalry was at its peak. Games were national events on Monday Night Football, and the intensity was off the charts. Dallas quarterback Danny White and Washington's Joe Theismann battled like gladiators. Theismann was cocky and loved to show off. White took the rivalry just as seriously. There's a story that after a loss, Danny White left the field carrying Joe Theismann's jersey, like they had swapped. Supposedly, teammates, including Dorsett, mocked him for it. While there's no specific record of this exact event, it speaks volumes about the rivalry. In that era, swapping jerseys with your most hated enemy would have been seen as treason. The fact that such a story could believably be attached to Dorsett shows how confrontational his reputation was. In that rivalry, even basic sportsmanship was considered weakness. The hatred was so intense that the idea of Dorsett criticizing a teammate for showing respect to the enemy felt completely in character. The fourth and final player Dorsett had issues with was Ezekiel Elliott, the young Cowboys running back who broke onto the scene in 2016. Elliott's rookie season was spectacular. He led the league with 1,631 rushing yards and shattered Dorsett's 39-year-old franchise rookie record. That had to sting. But Dorsett's criticism wasn't about the record. It was about Elliott's style of play. Elliott loved to hurdle over defenders. It was his signature move, and fans went crazy for it. But Dorsett hated it. He publicly warned Elliott to stop, saying, "He better stop that, he better stop that, he better stop that." He explained that when you're airborne, you're defenseless and vulnerable to brutal hits. Dorsett said it scared him every time Elliott left his feet. Now, here's the part the critics don't want you to focus on. Years after retirement, Dorsett was diagnosed with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a devastating brain disease caused by repeated head trauma. His warnings to Elliott came from a place of real suffering. But let's be honest. From the outside, it looked like a bitter old legend being critical of an exciting young star who had just broken his record. Elliott's hurdling was thrilling. Dorsett's warnings sounded like an old-timer trying to dim the spotlight on the next generation. He advised Elliott about avoiding the avalanche of fame and choosing his people carefully, lessons from his own difficult experiences. But the optics were clear, the old guard criticizing the new star. But for all the off-field drama and the contract wars, you cannot erase the magic of number 33 on the football field. Tony Dorsett was a Heisman Trophy winner. He was a Super Bowl champion. When he retired, he was the NFL's second all-time leading rusher with 12,639 career yards, trailing only the great Walter Payton. He was a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 1994, a selection that nobody could argue with. His place among the all-time greats is secure. His consistency throughout his career was remarkable. Dorsett rushed for over 1,000 yards in 8 of his first 9 NFL seasons. The only year he didn't hit that mark was the strike-shortened 1982 season, and even then he led the NFC with 745 yards in just 9 games. In 1981, he had his best professional season, rushing for a franchise record 1,646 and adding 325 receiving yards. That performance earned him first-team All-Pro honors and a Pro Bowl selection. He made the Pro Bowl 4 times during his career in 1978, 1981, 1982, and 1983. Over 11 seasons in Dallas, he was the heart of an offense that reached 5 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls. And then there's that 99-yard touchdown run. It stands alone in history. No one can break it, only tie it. It's the perfect symbol of his brilliance, speed, vision, and an ability to turn chaos into greatness. That play will live forever. Tony Dorsett's story is complicated. He was a phenomenal talent, a record breaker, and a champion. But he was also a man consumed by battles over money, jealous of teammates, and unable to accept that his time as the star was ending. His pride fueled his greatness, but it also fueled his conflicts. He fought the Cowboys over Randy White's contract. He raged when Herschel Walker got paid more. His reputation was so fierce that stories of him criticizing teammates felt believable, and he publicly questioned Ezekiel Elliott's style just as the young back broke his record. Yet despite all the drama, his legacy on the field is undeniable. He was a warrior who delivered in the biggest moments. His 99-yard run will never be broken. His name is etched in Canton. Tony Dorsett's career was defined as much by his explosive runs as by his relentless fights for respect. He was a star who demanded to be treated like one, no matter the cost. Tony Dorsett's story is a powerful reminder that our heroes are rarely simple. What do you remember most about him? If you enjoyed this look into one of football's most complicated legends, give this video a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.